Good evening, CSU. I have ASCSU President Josh Silva here today to ask him a few questions about what's going on in ASCSU. So first off, you've been they introduced the impeachment proceedings. They introduced the impeachment proceedings week 1 of ASCSU, and just how do you feel about that?
You know, I think in any case, I mean, there's so many times that you look at the situation and wonder, with all the different methods that we have for resolving disputes and differences, why the first week and why pursue the most extreme option as the first option. Okay. So why did you originally run for president? What were you hoping to accomplish? So I ran for president. I think every year, you know, we talk about the culture of ASCSU internally and externally. And so I ran on, you know, really trying to establish positive partnerships with different stakeholders across campus, and then just internally really focus on actually using the enormous budget we have and all the resources to do some good for the students. We ran on a lot of stuff improving transportation and ramride, along with looking at U+2 and that positive game day experience, which we've set up through the 12th Ram tailgating. Okay. Do you think the impeachment proceedings have affected the amount of things that you've been able to accomplish so far from your promises? Honestly, I think absolutely, because, you know, it's amazing. The executive branch we've been able to get, and the Senate too, to an extent, we've been able to get a lot of stuff done. You know, in a meeting with admin, we talked about some initiatives that we want to work with them on when it comes to learning analytics, and we've set up our first community service projects, along with, you know, we started a composting facility in the office. We are coordinating strategies for student needs down at the state capitol. We partnered with the health network to launch the first ever kind of CSU health fair, where student orgs related to health needs kind of talked about, you know, showcasing their talents and resources available to students, and all the technology initiatives that we're working on through the new position we created. Obviously, ramride stuff is still in the works, and that new tailgating experience, 12th Ram, that we crafted from scratch. And I look at that, and that's a lot of stuff. And obviously the U+2 study, which I think has escaped past presidents and past administrations, we were able to secure. But, you know, I look at all that, and we talk about that with administration, and I think about, like, it's a lot of stuff, and I wonder, what if we had passed twice as many bills, you know, or what if we had done twice as many things if this wasn't going on? It's just sad that it's sapping up so many people's energy in the organization and so many people's time and resources, when you know, most people would look at it and say could be resolved with a simple mediation or dispute, you know, resolution process. Cool. So tomorrow's agenda for ASCSU was released, I believe, yesterday. Yeah. And it basically looks like the entire thing is just going to be about the impeachment. So what do you expect from tomorrow's Senate meeting? I expect to not have a ton of expectations. You know, Senate is as Senate does, and I know, in terms of me, you know, I'm just going to come in and tell the truth and tell the facts as I saw them. I have no incentive to lie to anyone, whether it's to the media, to the administration, to the students, or to ASCSU, or to the Senate. So I'm just going to go in and tell the truth and tell the facts, and hope that people in their hearts are moved and see that. Okay. Do you think there's a chance that you could be impeached? You know, Stuart, I get asked that question a lot since this whole thing started, and my response has always been, you know, accusations have been made that are very kind of heavy-handed and, like, salacious, but you look at the actual case of what's going on and the actual charges and evidence I've submitted, and pretty much the reaction across the board, whether it's the students who've, you know, just going to class come up to me and say that they think it's petty, or faculty members, staff members, administrators in the Board of Governors to an extent, you know, talking about the reaction just kind of being, looking at the evidence and going, oh, well, that's it? Like, there's nothing there. I mean, just the fact that it's been 12 weeks and they're still struggling to articulate a really clear reason as to what the charges are and why they believe they're impeachable, despite the fact that our Supreme Court looked at the same thing and essentially dismissed it with a warning, is beyond me. So, long story short, to answer your question, you know, I think most rational kind of well-informed bodies that look at the facts and the actual occurrences would look at this and not make that decision, but I want to respect their decision regardless, and they have the right to do as they choose.
Okay. And if you do get impeached tomorrow, what are you going to do? What's your next plan?
Well, my plan, well, I will be on a plane heading to Mexico on the Todos Santos exchange trip that we're doing with the Autonomous University down there. Beyond that, I think just, you know, jumping back in and looking for ways to continue serving the students and just finish the work that we started when it comes to safe transportation and game day and other things like that. Impeachment or not, you know, I'm not going away. I think there's a lot of good that can be done here, and I'm hell-bent on doing it until I graduate.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
For more information, please visit www.collegian.com and stay tuned for Zach Trombetta with the weather for this week and the best ski resort of the weekend.